Hey everybody, Nick Yor here to bring you a very special edition of the Prep Zone. Today we are joined by Westfield head football coach Kyle Simmons. And Coach, thank you for joining us.
Sure, my pleasure.
All right, we'll get right into it. You guys opened the season last week at Lake Braddock in Burke, Virginia. You guys won 42-21. Certainly a great way to start the season, beating a rival. What did you like and maybe some things you didn't like from your team in that opener?
Yeah, it was a good win. It was nice to get the season started and be playing for something and playing for real. I thought Lake Braddock was a great opponent to start with. South County is going to be another good opponent. If we can go into our bye week 2-0, that would be that'd make for a great week off. But things I liked offensively, we started out 3 and out 2 series in a row, but I liked how we didn't panic. We made some adjustments, and then we're able to execute on things that we felt like we were going to be able to do based on what they were doing to us. I thought Noah played well. I've said this before. If he plays well, I think that puts us in a really good spot to win football games. I like the way Eugene came out and gave us a spark there in the third series. I thought the offensive line played better than they had played in the 2 scrimmages prior, so we're making a move in the right direction. If that group will continue to get better, then I think that we have a better chance of making a run in the playoffs. And then, we executed at wide receiver with 5 touchdowns. So very pleased there. I thought we won the special teams game. And then defensively, really they scored 21 points, but you could say, 7 of that was on, some second and third teamers. So we gave up 14 to a team with a young quarterback who played very well. And, I was pleased with how they were able to hang in there, especially after the offense sputtered a little bit at the beginning, to hang tough for us so that until we could get our bearings.
Yeah, it's a great point facing such a tough opponent like Braddock. But we will be right back with Westfield head coach Kyle Simmons. We're going to take a quick commercial break from DMV Stream, so don't go anywhere.
DMVstream.com, the Mid-Atlantic's leader in sports video, broadcasting, and live streaming. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVstream.com. That's DMVstream.com.
Hey everybody, and welcome it back into a very special edition of the Prep Zone. Nick Yor here, joined by Westfield football coach Kyle Simmons, and we'll get right back into our interview. Coach, you mentioned Eugene and Noah in your first question. I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about Eugene. He's such a talented player on both sides of the ball. We obviously got to see what he could do on offense last year. But do you guys try to monitor how much maybe defensive snaps he'll play, since he does get a lot of your carries?
Well, what I've been doing is since he has less experience on defense, I really have tried to give the defense the majority of the reps, whether it be practice reps, film reps, or those first 2 series, we let him be full-time defense and gave Isaiah Daniel a shot at tailback. We will continue to monitor his reps, but he's got the ability to go both ways when we need him. Offensively, we'll pull him over. We already know what he can do. Physically, he's put on some weight and some muscle since last year, so I feel like he can handle it physically. It's about being smart so that when we enter the playoffs in game 11 through 15, he's fresh enough to be healthy and ready to go.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, he's such a great player. It's hard not to use him on pretty much every play.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you guys had a very tough first scrimmage of the season. I was there to cover it versus St. John's, arguably one of the best teams in the country. So what do you guys preach and your staff done differently from that game and to leading up to this big win versus Lake Braddock?
Well, probably the biggest difference between the 2 scrimmages and the game is that we do a minimal amount of game planning or adjusting for that scrimmage. We really just want to get our guys out there doing multiple things that we're trying to get better at. So, all 3 of the teams we scrimmaged were really tough, good teams, good players, a lot of Division I athletes out there. So we were kind of, climbing uphill there. But when we go into a game like we did Lake Braddock with a game plan, something we've prepped, and then we make adjustments and attempt to put our players in a little better position, that does give us an advantage, and that's kind of the difference in how we approach the scrimmages versus the game for real.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I thought it was really smart for you guys to schedule such tough teams to scrimmage early in the year. You know, you're coming off the 3 straight state championships, so it teaches your team that every game is going to be tough. But how do you guys really preach that to your kids and not get complacent or overlook anybody having such great success?
Well, it's easy not to overlook St. John's and DeMatha and Quince Orchard. So, you know, when you get out there, you can see it at pregame that you're playing men. And so we don't get too confident in the scrimmages, but I do think that those tough scrimmages, and we don't talk a lot about it, but they are tough scrimmages. The kids know that, our staff knows that it really does set us up for some success once we enter the regular season.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You guys obviously have had a lot of success recently. Some 3-time defending state champions, like we said, something we haven't seen in this area in a long time. Besides the obvious talent that has come through Westfield, what do you think has been the biggest thing in your program that has led to such success since you've taken over?
I think it's a couple things. The culture is very good here, and that's something that was established, you know, before I was the head coach, and I was just able to continue that. So the kids are very bought in. This is important to everybody. We have a system that works with us that we tweak from season to season, but it is what works for us. Defensively and offensively, we've stayed for the most part the same. So, you know, we know how to make adjustments based on what we do. The coaching staff is incredible, the best in the state. Although I've lost coaches here and there, there's always been coaches who are in waiting, who are able to come up through the system and take over, and that's given us some continuity that has allowed us to be consistent. And then, you know, when you're winning, you have a lot of support. The administration, the teachers, the community here has been very good to us and has helped support us. So those all, I think, play a role into our success.
Yeah, it's a great point. When you're winning like you are, other teams and other schools are going to come calling for your coaches, trying to repeat what you guys are doing. So obviously, with all the recent success, do expectations change from year to year for you guys, or is it pretty much the same? What would be a successful season, would you say, for this year's team?
For this year's team?
Yes.
Well, a couple things. Making the playoffs, which, you know, is not as hard as it used to, so that's certainly a goal of ours. We used to talk about practicing on Thanksgiving being a goal, but then we lost 3 years in a row after the Thanksgiving weekend, so we decided to make the goal to practice in December. So, you know, that's kind of what I see as if we can get to December and be practicing when it's bitter cold outside, that's a goal, and that's what I consider success.
Yeah, it's a great point. Always fun to be practicing after Thanksgiving with you and your teammates. So you guys are returning quarterback Noah Kim, will be his second year as a starter. You mentioned him earlier. So already won a state championship a year ago. So what are you most looking forward to seeing, or maybe some of his growth coming into his second year on the offense?
So, you know, what I've really asked from Noah is kind of step up his leadership skills. As a sophomore, he came in and did a fantastic job. I don't think I realized what a great job he did until, you know, I sat back after the season and thought about all the things that he had accomplished and done. So I'm just looking for him from a maturity standpoint to become more of a presence, more of a leader. His skill set is, you know, something he will continue to prove on. He's got a strong arm. He throws the ball accurately, and he's got pretty good feet. So presence in the pocket is something we're looking for. He has a tendency to, you know, want to bolt right and left when really what we need to do is for him to step up in the pocket and continue his read, and then if he's going to run it, you know, run from there. So those are the two things, his leadership and then his presence in the pocket are the things I'm looking for him to get better at. And then, you know, in the weight room, he's working hard, but, you know, just to get stronger because, you know, 15 games is a long season, and he needs to hold up through all that.
Yeah, especially running the ball and passing the ball, running a lot of bootlegs like you guys do as well. So you guys are returning, like we said, Noah Kim, and leading rusher Eugene Asante, and then leading receiver and free safety Taylor Moore, and he's a great player committed to Wake Forest from a state championship team last year. So, like, I just would like to know, how excited were you and your guys for this season to, like, finally get here since you have all these guys returning?
I have to be honest with you. This season was the first season where I was actually nervous because in the previous seasons, you know, we never had as many skilled guys difference makers returning. So, you know, it was just kind of put your nose down and get to work, and you knew you had to develop a lot of guys in order to compete in the end of the season. And this year we walk in and we've got a handful of those guys already, and so you're concerned about complacency. You're concerned about depending on somebody too much. You know, the area of emphasis has been our O-line and our front seven defensively and getting better there. But, you know, you kind of have that pressure that if you don't succeed this year, it's going to be a failure because you do have all these guys coming back that can play. But anybody that's been in this spot knows that it's about more than that. You have to have some luck. You've got to stay healthy. And these guys that have already performed have to come back and perform again and not just think about what they did last season.
Yeah, it's always about growing and moving forward, especially in football. So, Coach, we'll get you out of here on this one. Of course, the game we are covering this week, South County at Westfield versus at your guys' stadium. We will be doing a live broadcast from there. It was a thriller last year. You guys won 28-27 in overtime. So what are you expecting out of this year's matchup?
So offensively, they like to run kind of a fast pace, break the huddle, snap the ball in a couple seconds type of thing. So defensively, it's going to be a lot about identifying, getting lined up, and then being able to execute the game plan. So that's what we need to do defensively. Offensively, we just need to continue to make adjustments. We kind of got a feel for what we think they're going to try to do. We've played them quite a bit here in the last few years, but I'm sure they've got some adjustments they're going to make. So it's going to be about how quickly can we figure out what they're doing and then, pull something out of the bag to counteract that. And special teams wise, we're always solid in the special teams, but they are a little quirky special teams wise, and I don't mean that in a negative way. They just like to do a lot of different things. They like to fake on fourth down. They like to run, fakes out of their field goal and extra point, and then their kickoff. They've got several formations they like to use. So we just need to, not panic and execute in those areas and not let them get a one-up on us because, they're showing us something that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, that's a great point. Should be a great game this Friday between two of the top teams in the region, Westfield and South County. Make sure to check it out if you're in the Chantilly area this Friday. And that's going to do it for us for a very special edition of the Prep Zone. Thank you, Coach, for joining us. And make sure to check us out every week at dmvstream.com. Once again, that was Westfield coach Kyle Simmons joining us on the Prepcast. Thank you.